friends, my pleasant and humble wishes. The first topic, a year after Galwan clash, China beefing up position along LAC. Year after violent clash between armies of India and China on Galwan Valley in eastern Ladakh, the Chinese People Liberation Army PLA has built additional accommodation in depth areas along the line of actual control on its side and is preparing for long haul, official sources said. PLA has built additional accommodation, both permanent and temporary, in Rudok, Kangswar, Yanst, Goldman areas. Construction of fields, hospitals, and procurement of additional snowmobile vehicles by PLA also indicate that they are preparing for long haul and permanent winter occupation of these posts. According to intelligence input, Chinese troops in the Pangong Lake area have been rotated. China's 4th and 6th Division were withdrawn from the both bank of Pangong Lake to Rutog country for repairs in February and returned to Xinjiang for repairs in past 3 weeks. They were replaced by 8th and 11th Divisions. Each division has 2 mobile infantry regiment, an armed regiment, an artillery regiment, and air defense regiment. China is also intensifying construction work behind the main confrontation points in Akshay Chin. Intelligence said. The PLA has conducted exercise in Tibet and opposite in Arunachal Pradesh. For instance, in the first week of this month, the PLA conducted a small armed training at Shid in Tibet. The PLA soldiers were trained in anti-tank rocket launchers, jet launchers, anti-aircraft machine guns and other weapons, according to the inputs. So the next topic, fight against authoritarianism, extremism, says PM Modi at G7 meet. India is a natural ally to work with the world's richest G7 countries to fight against the threats of authoritarianism, said Prime Minister Narendra Modi, speaking a special outreach session for guest countries on open societies and open economies at the G7 summit that ended in Corps Bay, UK on Sunday. Making out the need for free, open, inclusive Indo-Pacific, officials also said government will study US President Joseph Biden's proposal for Build Back Better World B3W initiative, seen as a counter to China's $1 trillion Belt and Road initiative that was endorsed by the G7, keeping in mind the principle of transparency and inclusive. Mr. Modi also called on tech companies and social media platforms to ensure a safe cyber environment for all. A statement significant given the government's recent regulatory issue with Facebook, Twitter, and technical companies. India's investment in research unsatisfactory, UNESCO report. While India has made solid progress towards the Sustainable Development Goal (SDG) targets concerning industry, infrastructure, and innovation, the country's investment in research remain unsatisfactory. The UNESCO Science Report has observed. The gross domestic expenditure on research GERD has been stagnant at 0.7% of the GDP for years, although in absolute terms, research expenditure has increased. The chapter on India author by Sunil Mani, Director, Center for Development Studies, Thiruvananthapuram, noted India has one of the lowest GERD or GDP ratios among the BRICS nations, according to the report which published every 5 years. India's research intensity has been declining since 2014. Science and Technology Policy of 2003 fixed the threshold of devoting 2% of GDP to research and development by 2007. This target date was set back to 2018 in New Science, Technology and Innovation Policy 2013, then again to 2022 by Economic Advisory Council of Prime Minister. In 2020, the task force drafting the country's new science and technology policy recommended pushing back the target date to more realistic 2030. It noted. Next topic, no women applicant for priesthood in state Kerala. Priesthood will continue to remain an exclusive male bastion in Kerala for some more time, as no woman has sought appointment as priest in the temple managed by State Devaswams Board. No woman has approached the Trivandrum, Cochin and Malabar Devaswam boards, which have administration control over nearly 2,000 temples in state, with requests for appointment. Initially, it appeared that there were no qualified women candidates, as none has been formally trained in temple rituals and pujas at the 2 government-recognized Tantra schools of state. The disinterested women in priesthood stands in stark contrast with their counterparts in Tamil Nadu, where many women have sought permission to perform puja in temples. P.K. Segar Bahu, The Tamil Nadu Ministry of Hindu Religion and Charitable Endowments has started that women, if trained, could be appointed as priests in Tamil Nadu. Devasam Minister K. Radhakrishnan said that issue was not discussed as it does not come up for consideration in the state, as and when the issue cropped up, it would be discussed. Confirming that no women candidates have been admitted to Tantra courses, Mullapalli Krishna Namboothri, the working president of the Aluva Tantra Vijaya Peedam, said the government should strive to enroll women as priests in all the religions. Women empowerment and renaissance would become meaningful only when women are made priests in the religion and not Hindu temples alone. Topic: Union Home Ministry order inviting citizenship applicants faces Supreme Court challenge. May 28 order of Ministry of Home Affairs inviting non-Muslim refugees such as Hindu, Sikhs, Jains and Buddhists belonging to Afghanistan, Bangladesh and Pakistan residing in 13 districts of Gujarat, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, Haryana and Punjab to apply for Indian citizenship is increasingly becoming the focus of challenge before the Supreme Court. A recent petition filed in Supreme Court by Anis Ahmed through Advocate Selvin Raja said the government order utterly discriminates and deprives a class of persons, namely Muslims. Mr. Ahmed argued that May 28 order does not withstand the test of Article 14 inasmuch as it treats people within a particular class, that is, person entitled to apply for citizenship by registration and naturalization unequally by virtue of their religion. Identical arguments have been made in two earlier petitions filed by Indian Union of Muslim League and Popular Front of India in Supreme Court against the executive order issued by the ministry. IUML said Home Minister order was ruse to implement the malified designs of Controversial Citizenship Act to grant Indian citizenship on sole basis of religion. According to CAA, Indian citizenship would be given to non-Muslim persecuted minorities from Bangladesh, Pakistan and Afghanistan. Those are Hindus, Sikhs, Jains, Buddhists, Parsis and Christians who came to India till December 31, 2014. The party said CAA was already under challenge before the Supreme Court. The May 28 order intends to circumvent judicial scrutiny. The government had earlier averted a stay of CAA by assuring the apex court that the rules under the act had not yet been framed. There were widespread protests in different parts of the country following the enactment of CAA in 2019. In fact, Delhi has seen riots in February last year. The order does not withstand the test of Article 14 inasmuch it treats people within the particular class, that is, people entitled to apply for citizenship by registration naturalization unequally by virtue of their religion. The IUML has said classification of applications of citizenship on basis of religion is illegal. Centre curbed militancy in Jammu and Kashmir, Union Minister said. The Union Ministry of State for Home G. Kishan Reddy, who laid the foundation stone of first ever Balaji Temple of Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam in Jammu on Sunday, said the centre has managed to curb infiltration and militancy in Jammu Kashmir in past 2 years. Barring a couple of incidents of violence reported in Jammu and Kashmir, the situation has changed across India and Jammu Kashmir in the past 2 years. The government has managed to curb infiltration and militancy. Mr. Reddy said coronavirus pandemic hindered the centre's plan to push development initiatives in Jammu and Kashmir. COVID-19 did play a spoil sport and hit the development projects. Once the pandemic ends, we will take Jammu Kashmir as union territory to new heights of development. Next topic, rare solidarity for Rohingya. Anti-junta protests flooded Myanmar's social media with pictures of themselves wearing Black Sunday in a show of solidarity for Rohingya, a minority group that is among the most persecuted in country. Since the military ousted civilian leader Aung San Suu Kyi from power in February 1 coup, an anti-junta movement demanding a return to democracy has been grown, including fight for ethnic minority rights. The mostly Muslim Rohingya, long viewed as interlopers from Bangladesh by many in Myanmar, have for decades been denied citizenship rights, access to service and freedom of movement. Activities and civilians took the social media on Sunday to post pictures of themselves wearing black and flashing a three-finger salute of resistance in post tagging Black for Rohingya. Justice must be served for each of you and each of us in Myanmar, said prominent right activist Thinzar Sulni Yi on Twitter. Local media also showed a small protest in Myanmar's commercial hub Yangon with black-clad demonstrators holding signs in Burmese that said they were protesting for oppressed Rohingya. Copper plate inscription found at Sri Shailam temple. The Brahmaramba Mallikarjuna Devasthanam engaged in reviving ancient Ganga Mandiram near Sri Shailam temple complex chanced upon 6 sets of copper plate inscription on Sunday. There were 18 copper leaves found, said Temple Executive Officer Karma. The inscription depicts the far and wide patronage by people, he added. Telugu University School of History, Culture and Archaeological Professor P. Chenna Reddy said that the copper plates found at Sri Shailam could be dated back to somewhere between 14th and 16th century. Out of the 6 set, 4 have inscription in Sanskrit and Nandi Nagar script and other 2 plates on Telugu script, he added. Inox Air Products says its Hosur plant will get operational in 2022. Inox Air Products, one of India's largest manufacturers of industrial and medical gases in India, said that its proposed plant at Hosur will produce liquid oxygen, liquid nitrogen and liquid argon will be commissioned and operational in December 2022. The commissioning of this plant would augment our liquid medical oxygen production capacity by 50%. Siddharth Jain, director of Inox Air Products, said. With an investment of Rs 150 crore, the Hosur plant will be identical to Sri Perumbudur plant, which is currently producing 200 TPD of liquid gases. Hope this video is very useful. I would like to say that our academy WAR, Win and Rule, is coaching students in various exams like NEET, TNPSC, UPSCs, as well as we are tutoring students from class 6 to 12 in all subjects. One-to-one student coaching is also available at students' preferable timing. For further detail, refer the description.